afternoon, collectors and friends. I'm happy to be back in the chair here on Leighton's Loft. You can find us every Wednesday at about 1:30 Eastern Time. How are you today, Lou?
Doing very well. How are you? I'm running on a short week, so everything's kind of jumbled up.
Yes. So for me, I guess similar in that we're busy. I'm going out of town tomorrow. I don't know if you heard, Lou, but I'm going to the Boston and Springfield area for a couple appointments.
I saw a post on it. Where exactly is it? Boston or Springfield?
So the big appointment is in the Springfield vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I'm being vague is because, I'm not there yet.
Sure. Yep.
But I also, and I've not told the story for a long time, but I've been to the Basketball Hall of Fame, the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame, one time.
Okay.
And I've been there for about 15 minutes. And as the story goes, I walked in, and I don't remember exactly why I was up there. It was probably related to work. And I somehow figured out a way to get there, but they were closing in about 15 minutes. So I said to the woman, hey, ticket for one. She's like, we're closing in about 15 minutes. I said, no, I know. Yeah. So I said, just, ticket for one, here's cash. Well, you'd be better off, she's telling me about all these things that, like, if they were able to be done would be great. Like having more time there, coming back the next day. I'm trying to explain to her as patiently as I can. I'm a fellow Northeasterner, right? I know I can talk fast. I'm like, I'm okay that there's only 15 minutes left. I'm willing to buy one ticket.
Yep.
I'm going to pay cash to keep it easy. I do wish I had more time.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, something like to the effect of, you weren't kidding.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. So I'm going to take now the 12 minutes I have.
Exactly.
I'm going to try to, enjoy it for the best I can.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did. So anyway, I'm going back up.
Let you go, though. Tell me she just let you walk in.
No, I had to pay cash.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but it's okay. I don't have any problem with that. I just have a problem with losing a few minutes of extra time because I didn't have a lot of time to work with. But anyway, I'm going to be back in the area tomorrow. And the reason why, because, I feel like I'm geographically challenged. I've talked about this, but I'm aware that Springfield is not right on top of Boston.
Right.
It's on the outside, the outskirts, if you will. So I'm going to be in the area from Thursday to Saturday. Saturday, I'll be closer to Boston. However, if something happens between now and tomorrow on the way up, I absolutely am willing to stop in Boston or the vicinity, if you will.
Sure.
But I do have a few appointments, a couple at the hotel, a couple at folks' homes, and I'm staying to make sure I can get the most time in, like I said, barring any unforeseen deals, circumstances, etc. I'm staying in a hotel down the road from the NBA Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield.
Okay.
Just to make sure if it's only 32 minutes, then I'm going to get all 32 minutes, Lou.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really excited.
I've never been. How is it? I mean, you've only seen it for 15 minutes, but how is it?
From what I remember, it was great, and I wanted to see more of it, which is, I'll be able to comment and report on it a little bit more intelligently after tomorrow.
Yep, I got you.
So hopefully, listen, on the one hand, like I hope to get tons of leads right in between now and then, and I can only go for 15 minutes again. On the other hand, there's a reason why I'm staying Thursday night, because even though my deal, which is I think about 20 minutes from Springfield on Fridays at noon, I figured I'm either going to meet someone at the hotel on Friday morning, or if there's nothing to do, I'm going to get up super early, go for a walk, eat an early breakfast, and then go to the Hall of Fame for a couple hours.
Yeah, Monty's trying to out you.
I didn't even know there was an MGM Grand Casino Hotel.
Yeah.
Apparently there is.
Yep.
But anyway, very excited about that and the trip. So if you are in the Boston or Springfield, Massachusetts vicinity, you'd like to chat, grab a drink, talk cards, trade, sell some stuff, etc., drop me a line. You can email me direct, Leighton@justcollect.com. Or DM me right on Instagram, Lou.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. I hope you have a great trip. Enjoy. I hope it's perfectly hectic and gives you some time as well.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it. Appreciate Monty, Donald, Nick, the gang tuning in today to Leighton's Loft. What's up, Tim? It's going to be a great time, and I'll keep everyone posted about the travels at least a little bit on social.
Yep.
So this is a shout out to our community, and specifically Melch, as he's known. Dave Melcher texted me recently and said, "Hey, Leighton, you have this card on eBay. It is a third year of Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub.
Beautiful.
And for a 5, it looks really nice."
Yep.
And what I've realized more recently than ever is people, they just love the 1956 top set.
Yeah.
Right. You have the big image, you have the other image, and of course the design just really reeks of the time period. And even in mid-grade, it's a nice card.
Yep. No, love that set because it brings baseball into it as well as the standard shots. So I love it.
So Melch said, "Hey, are you interested in trading?" Of course, my next question is, what you got?
Yeah.
So I don't have the card yet, but we did finalize the trade, so I'll show it off when we get it in because this puppy is being shipped out. So Melch offered me a 1965 top Steve Carlton rookie that happens to be fairly well centered. I did ask to see a scan of it. And just to let the folks know, so it's about an even swap in terms of value.
Mm-hmm.
I won't always do that. Sometimes I want a little bit more, depending on what card or cards you're trading me. But Melch is an OG. He's been around in the community for now, some time. Mm-hmm. And so if you see something in my Just Collect store, which you can find on eBay at just_collect. It's certainly not our full inventory, but there is hundreds of thousands of dollars of vintage cards there listed. So if you see something there and for some reason or another, right, you don't want to write a check or you don't want to, use your PayPal account for one reason or another, and you want to see if I'm open for trading, I am. I'm not always going to be able to do a trade or do a trade for the terms and conditions that you want, but I will certainly try. And in this case, it was very easy to get a trade done with Melch, and I'll show everyone the 1965 top Steve Carlton rookie SGC 6 once we get it in.
You mean for whatever relationship issues there are, you don't want a monetary paper trail. You just want to do a trade.
Exactly.
So you said scan. What level, if you're going to entertain a trade, what level of info do you need? In other words, can they just take a cell phone shot and send it in?
Yep. A great question, Lou. All he did was take a picture with a cell phone, texted me front and back. And if I'm not mistaken, even though I didn't ask for it, he did share like the screenshots of whatever, maybe he used Card Ladder or VCP. I don't quite remember. But either way, he did share the screenshots of the value of his card. And I have to say that was not necessary, but I felt like in the, vein of trying to be transparent, right?
Yep.
And trying to earn the trust of the fellow individual you're trading with. It certainly didn't hurt, even though I certainly could have looked it up on my own. It was much appreciated. And so we were able to get a deal done, and I'll let everyone know when we get the Steve Carlton here to show it off.
Just make sure you're all on the same page so you can just have a nice conversation about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So next up, speaking of community, now I didn't even sleeve them up. That's to show you the stage that these are in. So our good friend of the community, Jim Ector, has now caught the 1933 Gaudy bug.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And what I mean by that is he was able to, I believe, secure a Ruth and a Gehrig in our set break that we recently held here on VintageBreaks.com. And he also traded me for a Gehrig not that long ago from the 1933 Gaudy set. And so if I'm not mistaken, he's about, give or take, halfway through.
Nice.
So he sent me a list and said, hey, if you can help, let me know. And I was running out of town, as I mentioned, tomorrow. It was on my list to get done the other day. It did not happen. So I wanted to make sure at the very least, because I have a few different stacks or stashes, if you will, but I know this particular group I really hadn't done anything with. I thought it was in the grade that he was looking for, meaning Jim is looking for about, give or take, VG type cards that are going to either exhibit no creases or very little in terms of creasing. And maybe it's more about the corner wear on the card or the surface.
Right.
So he sent me the list, and I don't want to misquote, but I believe there is 19 cards. So almost 20%, give or take, of the set that he's trying to complete. I have right here in my hands. And so, Jim, if you're watching, enjoy the reveal. And if you're not, you'll be able to play this back later. But I thought this would be fun, gang, if I just showed you, right? Because I didn't text him the actual cards, Lou. Right. I just texted him the card numbers because he texted me. And I understand, Jim might, maybe go to a card show this weekend or look late at night on eBay, try to scoop some up. So I said, I have these cards for you. What's up, Chris? And, of course, I'm willing to sell them, but if he didn't want to buy them, I'm willing to trade them to him.
Right. Yep.
Of course, I have to determine the value, which I will soon. But at the very least, without further ado, here are the 19 cards that were going to help Jim complete his 1933 Gaudi set.
Very nice.
This would be a fun reveal, Lou.
Yep. Love the Gaudi too.
And even in this condition, they're just very, they're very attractive cards.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't have rampant creasing or terrible, paper loss or writing on them, grades good, 2, 3, and 4, you can have really attractive cards.
You just have a good vintage baseball card feel about them too.
Yes, they do. And I mean, like I said, they're not even sleeved yet.
Yep.
The stack of 50 or 80 of them that I had, they weren't sleeved just because, they were lower grade. There wasn't really any Hall of Famers.
Mm-hmm.
I always liked that card.
Mahaffey. Leroy Mahaffey.
I'm going to fan the backs out, Lou, all at once at the end.
Yep. I know. It's just, this is what you want to see when you go to a vintage card live video. It's exactly what you want to see.
Mm-hmm. And for, Jim, now he's going to have an idea of what he's getting in. But I did ask because I wasn't sure. I like to open stuff, so if you can afford it, by all means, go for it. Hey, what's up, Melch? We were just talking about you a few minutes ago.
Yep, his ears were ringing.
Showing off the Ernie Banks that we're shipping your way. So I told Jim these are mostly VG, a couple better, a couple lessers, but I think, just looking at them on camera, that's exactly what they are. They're nice looking cards.
You missed it by a day. Dr. J's at the Hall of Fame. Yeah, that's information you didn't need.
Monty, you could have told me after I went. Oh, man. And of course, I'm going to go in there and ask them, do you have anything special going on? They probably would have told me.
Yep.
You missed it by a day.
Missed it by a day.
No kidding. I have had the good fortune of meeting the doctor before, though.
Bye, Mike. How old is Dr. J now?
So figure he enters 25, 30, 50. Bet she's almost 80.
Yep. Gotta be.
I'm going to put him at 77. What's up, Daniel? I'm going to look it up real quick, Lou.
Oh, I could look it up if you want.
I was curious. He's 73.
73.
Looks great.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think he's playing in pickup games.
No. No.
But I've seen him, and he looks pretty good.
Sorry, he's accomplished all he needs to accomplish. Thank you, Christopher. I appreciate it.
I think so.
I knew we'd crowdsource it, and it would work out fine. It's just I saw this post the other day, and I can't remember who the musicians were, but it was a couple of musicians from my era, guys I loved, and it's like I hadn't seen them in 40 years, and it's like, wow. You just realize how old you are at that point.
Yep.
Yep.
So, once again, a reminder, I'll be heading out to the Boston and Springfield, Massachusetts area tomorrow.
Eastern Mass.
Saturday.
Yep.
And for those of you that are not aware, Dr. J was apparently at the Hall of Fame yesterday. And
He missed you by a day.
Yeah, he missed me by a day.
You didn't miss him by a day. He missed you.
But nonetheless, if you're in the area, in the vicinity, on the outskirts of Boston, would love to meet up for a drink, for an appetizer, for a trade, to buy some cards, etc. I want to switch gears here for just a minute. I was doing some cleanup. I was out of the office, as I mentioned last week, with my son on vacation. We had a lot of fun, and it's great to be back. Today here doing Leighton's Loft, and I wanted to show off some cards that I bought from a collection several months ago. And I know folks don't know as much about, let's say, if it's outside SGC or if it's outside PSA for vintage, they kind of feel like, hey, maybe the cards aren't as good, or there's a reason why they were graded, with that company.
Yep.
And of course, there often is a reason, but I want folks to see firsthand. And I think I've showed this off before, but I'm not sure if I showed off every card. So these cards come from a collection where this gentleman, I think he was living in New Jersey. It was several years ago. And he actually had sold off almost all of his commons because he didn't want to deal with them, as he had moved a few times over the years.
Right.
But he had kept basically all the major stars and rookies. And in terms of what he was trying to grade, because PSA wasn't what it is today, SGC wasn't what it is today. I don't even know that there was an ISA, there wasn't a CSG. So this gentleman had been looking at the Beckett magazine for years. So when he got his cards graded by Beckett, I know immediately when folks tell me that over the phone, especially if it's vintage, I kind of cringe a little bit. I'm like, but why didn't you just choose PSA or SGC? And, I didn't do that to this gentleman. He was already a long-suffering Jet fan like myself, and he was older. So I figured, he's been through a lot. I don't need to bust this guy's chops.
Some shared experience there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he explained to me that it was nothing more than, and I understand, right? Think about this, Lou, right? If you're moving several times and you have China that's been in your family for a long time, you may not pack up everything with bubble wrap or newspaper, but when you move, you're probably going to pack up that particular China with bubble wrap or newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
So his idea wasn't necessarily for value, but he's like, hey, I know my Pete Rose rookie card is good. And by the way, he had several. I think I still have two of them. I'll check. Yeah, I still have two of them, but I think he had a couple more graded, and then also there might have been one more or two of them ungraded. But he didn't grade them with Beckett for value. He graded them with Beckett simply to protect the cards.
Right.
Not the first time I've heard that. So just keep in mind, if someone tells you in their town or at a card show locally, they're like, I graded a bunch of Mantle cards with Beckett, even though I know you prefer them to be graded by PSA or SGC, and I do, yours truly does as well.
Yep.
Don't let that preclude you from looking at them.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Because this particular group of cards, I think I sold off a few. I might crack out across them. But this card for a 5 looks every bit of a 5, Lou.
Yeah, exactly. And so these have been protected for a long time, which is
yes. So I bought them from the gentleman who likely collected them as a kid. But once again, he did sell off, Lou, the commons, the less desirables, as he liked to call them, and he kept the major cards. And of the major cards, he didn't grade every Ernie Banks or every Willie Mays, but he tried to grade the best rookies. So he graded a couple of the Pete Roses. So I'll show you one. This is another one. This is authentic. But here you go. Here's the 1962 Topps Mickey Mantle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fairly certain SGC would for this. And it's a Beckett 4. It's got some wear, a little bit of accelerated rounding right there in the lower left corner. Right here. But still a solid looking 4.
Right.
I'm just going to run through these because I found personally some comfort in looking at these after I hadn't seen them for a while. In that, so if you go to a show and you see a Beckett graded vintage card, I wouldn't be afraid to buy it as long as the price and the valuation's fair for you. I wouldn't stretch.
Right. Yep.
Worst cases, you can sell it off, try to cross it. But here's a nice 4.5 of a 63 Topps Mickey Mantle.
Is Beckett's grading relatively credible most of the time?
I would say some of the time.
Yeah.
And on vintage in particular, I've seen them be more off. But this particular group of cards, Lou, looks like it was graded fairly accurately, and that was nice to see. Well, so that's a great point, Chris. So one of the things I'm trying to do on the show today, this is not a plug for Beckett. I'm trying to help you, the collector.
Yeah.
So that if you are married to SGC, if you're married to PSA, if you're married to ISA, if you're married to CSG, I'm only pointing out these Beckett cards because I myself am guilty of saying, like, I'm not as excited, or I don't really care because your cards are graded by Beckett, meaning they're vintage. And so what I often now want is I want to see the cards you have that are graded.
Well, to quote Billy Bean, does that cause an inefficiency in the market where Beckett graded cards you might be able to get them at a little bit of a discount?
Well, there's already an inefficiency in the market, Lou, because there's several grading companies and there's not standardized grading across all of them.
True. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't see anything that I am showing off here that seems wickedly out of place in the holder.
Right.
Meaning in the number holder, Lou.
Yep.
So that's the main reason why I'm showing them off today, is try to buy the card, not the holder.
Right.
That's a solid looking 3.5 on a 65 tops with great color.
Yep. Can't get enough Mickey Mantle cards, I'll tell you that much.
Kit Young had hundreds of them at the National, and I asked him if he was bothered by having that much inventory. He laughed at me. He's like, it's Mickey Mantle.
That's right.
Sometimes, Lou, I feel like, there are many people in the industry, collectors, dealers, investors, that'd rather have the cards than the cash. I don't blame them.
Yep. I mean, that's baseball. It's America. It's a great card, right?
Yep. So I know some folks are headed out to the Miami Hobby Slam this weekend. I would have gone had I been in town because, of course, you don't have to twist my arm to go to Miami. However, I will not be going down there. So please, if anyone this weekend is going to Hobby Slam Miami, let me know. I'm also not going to be making the Burbank show as I have Crosby that weekend of Labor Day. But please, I do have some friends that are going. But please let me know if you're going to be going to any upcoming shows. Let us know in the comments.
Yep.
Send me a message. I'd love to hear in your neck of the woods what you think at your shows. What's selling, Lou, right?
Right.
What's hot? What is everyone looking to buy on the floor?
You want boots on the ground, right? You want intel, boots on the ground.
Yes. So please, community, if you could let me know. Tomorrow, I don't know what time, but I'm going to try to do Trading Card Therapy, episode number 44, From the Road.
Nice. Oh, that'll be fun.
Yep. Thank you to each and every one of you that were able to carve some time out of your day today to join us and tune in and hang out with us here live for Leighton's Loft. See you soon, everybody.